Hello, ladies. Welcome, welcome. I'm Jan, and I wanted to do a training on something that's on my heart because right now we are towards the end of August in 2020. It's been an interesting year, and we're talking a lot right now about goal setting because we've just seen seminar, and this is the time when we really get really busy with our goals. And I know a lot of us have set goals like July 1st, we set a goal, and now we're really trying to work towards it. And something's been on my heart because we've been talking about several parts of the skincare class. We've talked about like getting bookings, and we have to work different than we have, and sometimes, like, I don't know about you, but my mind's been kind of all over the place. And so I wanted to bring you a quick training because when we talk about goal setting, one of the things that we talk about with goal setting is that we have to set the goal and then we start working towards the goal. And the part I want to talk about is not just setting the goal, but what is going to stop you from reaching the goal. Because a lot of times it's not just about how to book a skincare class. And one of the things that I'm going to be posting on our unit Facebook page is in regards to a tracking sheet, and it is a 2-page tracking sheet that's going to tell you all about all the different aspects of your business that you can master so that you can build your competence, which then builds your confidence. And that's the only way we build our confidence, through action, where we do something over and over. We build our competence by doing it that way, and then once we are competent with it, we feel very confident to move forward to the next. And so all the items are going to be there for you to check off. As I said in my video with the consultants for our meeting, was that you probably know a lot more than you're giving yourself credit. So we need to just stop pretending that we don't know how to do everything, because we do. So another video that I have is a leadership training video that is from National Sales Director Emeritus Linda Tupin. And one of the things that Linda talks about is in regards to working with an entrepreneurial spirit versus working with a traditional family. And so if you were raised traditionally, and what I mean by that, what she means by that, is that your parents grew up and they worked in jobs where they had a boss, they had a time clock, the boss told them when to be there, when they could go home, when their vacation was, and how much they would pay them. And that's all they could do. And so when we grow up in a traditional family, which I did, we grew up in a traditional family, we find it when whatever our boss tells us to do, we'll do. And I know that what I have learned from 37 years in being in Mary Kay, that I don't have a traditional job now. I don't have a boss outside of my home that tells me where to go, when to be there, and how much they'll pay me. I get to decide that, because I became an entrepreneur the minute I signed my beauty consultant agreement. Now, I didn't realize that's what I was doing. I just know that I wanted control over my own future. That's what you get in Mary Kay. You get control over your own future. The thing that I feel that we do sometimes when we've been raised traditionally is that we will do for another boss what we won't do for ourselves. We will do for another job and for a boss. We will leave our family. We will have companies stop over at the last minute, and we don't stay home and ignore the other job or the boss. We say, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you were coming, and I am just headed out the door because I have to be to work. We don't do that. We say, oh, well, we're just not that important. What I was going to do, I know it's going to disappoint. It could disappoint somebody else, but, Mary Kay says that we have to put God and family first. And so when we do that, we just have to not take our business seriously. So in saying that, is that wrong? Well, sometimes maybe, sometimes not. I've always valued the point that I could put my business first, or my business third, not first. I mean, I know that, when I'm the boss. However, what I have learned is that does not mean, if I put God and family first, it does not mean that I'm not important, my goals aren't important, and my business isn't important. What I've learned is that we teach people how to treat us. So if we allow certain things to continue to happen, our family, our friends, they realize that's how they can treat us, and we go along with it. And what I've learned is that the people that are at the top of their game, it does not mean that they have no family issues. It does not mean that they have no interruptions. It does not mean they don't have distractions. It does not mean that they started here and went straight to the top and had no issues. They had no things, because I know that each and every one of you that listen to this are going to say, but you really don't know my situation. I probably don't. But do we all have situations? Yes. Have we all lived through craziness? Yes. And every year when we go to seminar, I'm reminded of that, because how many times the queen, the person who did the most, she's crowned the queen, she gets the big, huge diamond bumblebee. She gets all the prizes and the money and the recognition that goes with being queen. And yet she will tell a story. And I know this is going to be exaggerated, but every year I sit there going, what was I doing? Because one year I can remember she didn't speak English. She didn't own a vehicle. She went to all of her appointments on a bus carrying her stuff. She didn't even have a driver's license. And she earned a free car, and she didn't even have a driver's license. So, and then you hear about the family, like, well, my parents were, something happened to my parents and they were very ill or passed away. I have 18 kids, and 3 of them are special needs, and da 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 da. I mean, at no time have I ever heard the queen get up there and go, you know what, my life is just so wonderful and it's so perfect, and I have no interruptions and I have no craziness going on in my life, and so that's why I'm here. No, that isn't what makes the story, and it's not what makes the person. So here's what I would like to offer to you. Linda Toupin recently talked about a weekly plan sheet, and I'm actually going to share my screen for a minute so you can see that instead of me, and so that you can see what I'm talking about. And this is a weekly plan sheet that has right here, you're going to see that it has a suggestion for color coding. Now you can do your own if you want, but this is a suggestion for color coding. And for instance, number 1 here is faith is done in purple. Your other job is done in black. Family responsibilities, blue. Then there's yellow for family quality time. Date time, red. Personal time, orange. Mary Kay meeting time, pink. Mary Kay money making time, green. And plan time in brown. So it's a real color coding system. Now what you do with that then is you take this weekly plan sheet and you don't write any words on it at all. This is going to be for your family to see, because this becomes a timesheet, a work schedule, if you will, for your entrepreneurial business if you use it properly. And so what you do is you take the plan sheet and you just, let's say you go to work from, say 8 to 5, you're gone every 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, you're gone 8 to 5. So you're going to color in all that little square area, you're going to color it in with a particular color. Okay? Now, if you use your lunch hour to do some Mary Kay time, you might want to color in from 8 to say 11 or something in that color, and then from 11 to 12 colored in a Mary Kay color, and then from 12 until 5 you colored in the other job color again. That way you will also see that you actually spend time during that day, during that 8 to 5 time, that you still have time to do Mary Kay, or maybe deliveries on your lunch hour, or whatever that you might do. Maybe it's phone calls, maybe it's deliveries. But here's the thing. When you color in this, you just color it in under the time slots with no words and put this on your refrigerator. This tells your schedule for your life to your family and to your friends. And so if you are trying to work your business, and let's say there's a Mary Kay event or training or appointment or something that you have to go to that you've had on your schedule, and somebody stops by. Now, if you were on your way to the other job where there was a boss telling you what to do, you would probably say to them, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't know you were coming. I am just on my way to work." That's what you would say. However, if you're on your way to a Mary Kay thing and it's not a customer waiting for you, just say it's something else, you can say, "Oh my gosh, I am so sorry. I'm on my way to a Mary Kay workshop training that I have to do that's part of my business, and I was just leaving. I wish I would have known you were coming, but I have to go." And yet sometimes that's not what we do. Sometimes what we do, that person's stopping by and we're like, "Oh, the other people understand, and it's my Mary Kay business, and it's not a boss telling you anything." And so you kind of like skate away, and then you end up afterwards, if you are feeling disappointed when you do something like that, or if you're struggling with that, then maybe it's time to just become an entrepreneur, and maybe it's time to be serious about it and have your timesheet on the refrigerator in those colors. And then what you could say to your like, if anybody else lives in your house with you, you could always say, "I'm sorry, I've got to run, but take care." Because when it's the other boss, you abide by what he tells you to do. So here's what I know is that when we don't share with our family what our timesheet's going to look like with both the other job or Mary Kay or Mary Kay, we have expectations that they should take our business seriously, and we haven't. We have expectations that they should support us no matter what, and when they don't, they're just not a supportive family. So one of the things I learned a long time ago was, number one, when I had people living in my home, this was on my refrigerator so they would know ahead of time where I was going to be. Linda Tupin suggests taking 4 of them for the whole month. So you always have a month. And it's hooked to the refrigerator so they can see everywhere you're supposed to be when. And if they want to be added into the sheet so that you spend time with them, they can tell you ahead of time. They can color in, this is a family time thing. They can, they will know what you're doing, and then they can color in where they need to be and how they want you to support them. And what I found when I had small children, because I've done this business from having a daughter at 11 months old, and then another son. 2 years later, I had a son. And then I worked my business all the way through. And when I earned my very first free car, I had a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old at home. So was I busy? Yeah. Did I have all kinds of craziness in my life? Yeah. But here's what I did. I sat down with my family and I said, this is my goal. This is what I want to do in the business. This is where I want to be. And so I'm willing to pay for something that you all want. So what did my husband want? He wanted a boat. He wanted to be able to go boating. He wanted to be able to go fishing. He wanted a boat. So what I did was I said, okay, I will pay for the boat so that in this many evenings per week when you're home, I'm going to be gone doing business, or I'm going to be in my office doing business, or I'm going to have to go out somewhere, but I will have a schedule. And so if you will take over whatever has to be done with the household or the children at that time, then I will be able to make the money I need, and then I will buy you the boat. But see, that got me the free car. And I was able to then get the promotion in Mary Kay to keep going, to make more money, to be able to pay for more things for our family. But I found out that they had to be on board. They had to know what they were getting for me being gone and working. And it wasn't just to pay the mortgage, even though that's a great thing to pay. It wasn't just for that. There was a reward for them. And I want you to think about, if you work another job, what is the reward for you being gone to that job? How hard do you work for that boss? And are you willing to work just as hard for yourself as you are the other boss? Because you know what? You can be the best boss that you've ever had. I'm the best boss I've ever had. I get to work when I want, make the amount of money I want, and I treat this business as a business. I want you to think about this. If your husband decided to do something part-time and he came home and he was disappointed in things, he complained about things, he talked about how frustrated he was with everything he did with the business, what would you do? Would you encourage him to keep going? You can do it. Or would you say, well, why are you causing yourself so much stress? Why don't you just quit? And so that's why we encourage you when you're frustrated or things aren't going right. We encourage you not to tell somebody that isn't going to encourage you back in, but we encourage you to talk to us as the sales director so that we can continue to, we can problem solve with you, we can encourage you, and we can show you how to keep going. Because every success story in Mary Kay, they did a little, and then they did a little more, and then they did a little more, but they had lots of falling down in the middle. And the reason that they succeeded, because they never gave up. And I promise you that this business is a business that can change your life from the inside, the outside. It can change everything. However, no one else will take it serious as what you do. If you don't take it serious and you don't tell everybody that you're serious and this is and that you're an entrepreneur and that you have this goal that you're working on, and you tell them what the goal is, if you don't do that, then they're not going to take it serious either. And most especially your family. Because I talked about being a car driver. I talked about getting a free car. My 3-year-old at the time, he was 3 when I earned it, he even understood that I was working for a car. And he would say, Mama, when you get the car, when you get the car. And so it was a constant. They knew, everybody around me knew that I was working for this tangible goal to drive a free car in Mary Kay. And if your goal isn't that big right now, that's okay. Whatever you're working on, just let people know what it is, including and most importantly, your family, so that they can get on board, and then let them know what it is that they get as the reward for supporting you, for encouraging you, for not letting you, and say, I'm going to get discouraged sometimes, but don't let me stay there. Tell me to call my director, or tell me, oh, yes, you can do it. Don't you give up. Ask them to be the support. Ask them to do that for you. And if they say, oh, I can't do that, that's not going to make any difference, then say, well, just remind me then to call my director at that time, because I'm going to make this happen. But I know that I'm going to come up with obstacles. I know there's going to be challenges. I know that my life isn't going to be perfect when I reach the goal. I'm just going to do it anyway, because I know that when all kinds of things are going on at home and you have the other boss that you have to go to, you still go and do the job. I know that you don't let that stop you when you're helping somebody else build their dream by being an employee. It still doesn't stop you. You still go to work and you still do what you got to do, even though all that other things are going on. And see, if you'll do the same in Mary Kay, if you will continue towards your goal, even though all kinds of things are happening, because trust me, if anybody says their life is perfect, they're either in denial or they're lying, because nobody's life is perfect. And we all have obstacles. And right now, I might not have your same obstacles, but I may have had them previously, or maybe I'm going through something similar. And I don't have to have your same exact life. I just have to know the attitude of how to get past it. And that's what I can help do as your sales director. And anyone that's watching this, if you have a sales director, I promise you, we don't have to have the exact same life and circumstances to truly understand and to be empathetic, but we can show you how to move past them. So I hope this helps. I want you to know I believe in you. I care about you. And you know, you're going to hear us talk. This weekly plan sheet, the company is 57 years old. This is what they talked about all those years ago, Mary Kay taught us, and still what we do today. Because you know what? This is what works to keep us organized and keep us focused. And now, the other thing is, so let's say we do this, right? And at the end of the week, you go, it didn't happen like that. Well, that's normal. And you can't expect it to, because then you would be expecting something that isn't even possible, because we're not striving for perfection, because we're not going to be perfect. What we're striving for is excellence. And excellence means that you plan, you start working it, and you pivot when you have to change it. It doesn't mean that just because you fill this out, that that week is going to go perfectly like that. That's never going to happen. What's going to happen, though, is that you have a plan to start with for your focus, and then you will adjust and pivot where you need to, and then you know you're working towards excellence. You're not ever going to hit perfection. And that is one of those things that we've got to be able to let go. So I believe in you, I care about you, and I hope this video will help you plan, move forward, and reach your goals. Have a great day.